And on today's Sweet Talks, Sound the Drums, we finally have the man here, Lucas Freitas, our ambassador for UK.
Hello, everybody.
Today, you're gonna see the face of the man that transforms beauty, and the fan hairdressers has the guts to tell what many people don't, but always wanted to. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here.
So, to start, who is Lucas Freitas? What made you to start being a hairdresser?
Well, I would say I started hairdressing 18 years ago. And of course, like most of the hairdressers, I had no idea what I was doing. But I always tend to look for the transformations. And I think the pleasure to see somebody else's face, really grateful. And I always say, like, when we are hairdressers, we transform more than hairs. We transform souls. We sell dreams. So I think the most important part for me in the hairdressing world nowadays is this power to create a new version of yourself.
So you mentioned, that hairdressing is much more than a hair transformation. It's how it affects the soul, the impact, the self-esteem. When was the moment in your career that you realized that hairdressing was more than just transforming hair?
I think when I started doing hair and seeing the reactions, I think that works for all the hairdressers. Like when you notice the power that you had in that person to make them feel better, to make them feel like more love about themselves, about self-esteem. I think in this moment, like you see somebody crying in your chair, for example, you think, Jesus, what did I do for that woman feel like this? So I think this is it. I think you know what you're doing when you see that smile in your chair, if that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. And that's a funny thing, because hairdressers, they live this every day. And still, I would say the majority of them don't see it. They understand, they live it every day, but they don't see it. And you being a hairdresser, you were a hairdresser in Brazil, you were a hairdresser in UK. And what is a struggle? What is the backstage that a hairdresser lives daily, but people don't see it from the outside, the public?
I think nowadays, most of the struggles that we face in our industry is because people tend to see us as a very glam image, but nobody knows like how hard it is to do a color correction, for example, how hard it is to do a balayage, how many hours you need to be standing up, how many products you're going to use. So I think nowadays, the most of the struggle that we have in our industry is when you charge a fair price, for example, and people tend to question why you're charging that much, but people don't see the background, like everything that you have. So I think most of the hairdressers that are starting to feel this way, like, oh my God, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. I reckon people, they see all the work that is put into being a hairdresser.
Yeah.
Because they think it looks simple, because maybe they see product that they can buy on a beauty shop, colors, with some instructions, and do it themselves. So they don't understand, of course, the quality, the difference that it is
versus,
to go through a profession.
Yeah.
What is one of the biggest myths in the beauty industry, in the hairdressing industry, of success looks like?
I think people tend to see hairdressers in a very glam figure. And I think the biggest myth, I would say, is when people think that your diary is full and you have like quite a big clientele base and you're rich and you're absolutely loaded of money, when the reality, they don't see the background of it and all the costs that you have to run your own business, like products, chair rent, like everything, all the premises behind it. People tend to see like that. People think you grab the money from a client, put in your pocket, and that's it. You're rich and loaded because you charge loads, but it's not really what happens in real life.
Because it's funny that you say that, because so many hairdressers, they try even to put clients almost back to back, and they focus more, they behave more like let's say, barbers in a way, to just cut, and that's
A
it.
line of production.
A line of, an assembly line. And they then cannot understand why they don't have money, because they are focusing on the price that they are charging instead of the value. And I wanted to ask you, how many clients a day do you service?
I do 2 colors per day. I work in 1-by-1 basis. So all my appointments are exclusive. I don't do clients in between. Just because I like to take my time and do things properly. If you are listening to me and you do like a couple of clients per day together in between, that's nothing wrong with that as well. But personally, I think when you offer your client an exclusive appointment, especially like a color correction or something that will demand time and effort, is better, because you are focusing in that client. You are focusing in what you need to do properly without having to rush, because imagine you're running out of time to rinse your highlights, for example, and you still blowing drying on the hair. So I think this kind of a rush of atmosphere is not for me. If it works for you, great, but it's not for me. I prefer to take my time and do things like as it should be done properly.
And do you feel that this value of service, this one-on-one exclusivity, that you're not constantly rushing, is what allows you to charge, give you the confidence to charge the fair pricing that you do, in comparison to another stylist that are always aiming to have a full schedule, but not so much focus on the service itself?
Well, I'm not going to lie. I think, yes, you can add value on exclusive appointments. I think personally, my clients, they appreciate that when I'm doing your hair, is only you in my chair. But I think the most important part to be considered when you work in this basis of 1-by-1, I would say, is the quality. Once again, if you do clients in between, I'm not saying that your work is shit. I'm not saying that. However, when you're doing a client and you take your time and effort to do just that person per time, you can't disagree with me that the quality will be, the
attention, the value, the quality of the service.
Yeah, and for the client as well, isn't it? Like, she will feel more special.
That they can charge. They are getting their money's worth.
Yeah, and also we need to understand how the client feels as well, because sometimes, imagine how would you feel if you pay to do the hair with me, and then I'm with you for 30 minutes and just rushing you or shoving you to an assistant, or, I think this is, for me, it doesn't work. I don't work this way.
Fantastic. And this links to the next one. What is the mistake that quietly keeps hairdressers stuck or even poor without them noticing?
I think nowadays, the biggest mistake that people do, especially when they start in their careers, is don't have the right narrative with the client. There's a lot of aspects to be considered in that question, but I would say when you sell a service, you're selling a lot of things involved. And people tend to be afraid of charging, for example. Oh my God, how can I charge that? What can I do this and that? I think especially when you're starting, the biggest mistake is to don't understand the difference between value and price. If you put in your prices very, very low to attract clients, you're doing that very wrong, because you will attract the wrong people that you don't even want to sit in your chair. And I'm not here talking about money or conditions of life. I'm talking about the value that you will be putting yourself, underestimating your own values, if that makes sense.
And just so people out there get to know what is this coming from, can you tell us a little bit how is it, on when you open the diary, like the free spots, how long does it last? Or even better, when is your next appointment available?
My clients will hate to hear that, but my next available appointment is for end of September now.
End of September.
Yeah, I have one or two actually.
So this is exactly, for all the hairdressers that are listening to us, this is exactly what you need to apply on your business to have a full schedule, focus on servicing 2 clients a day, where you can fully dedicate yourself, you can charge the fair pricing, and it starts here with this, and not work the way of just going fast, short, because your client's not going to perceive, as Lucas is saying, you're going to attract the wrong clientele that is not going to pay all the investment of that you put into being a hairdresser.
Yeah, I think it's very important to add as well. Like some people might say, "Oh, this is the reason that he's fully booked because he only do 2 clients per day." But once again, excuse me, the fact that you're doing 10 people a day, 10 haircuts, 10 blow dries, for example, you will only do that for one reason: thinking about the money. You will earn more money. So sometimes, if you think about the business in a sense like money-wise, even if you do your 10 blow dries, it won't be even a price of a 1 balayage. So I'm not fully booked because I do only 2 clients per day. Do you know what I mean? There's something to add in this question, because it's not about how many people you do.
Is there how much you charge? You can
exactly. Yeah.
People think that if I go to 10 clients, the volume is what is going to change my life. But
no.
Like exactly what you're saying, how much can you charge for a blow dry of this service of going back to back? But when you charge a full transformation that includes everything, whole pack,
yeah,
it is equivalent of maybe 20 of these small services that hairdressers focus on doing.
Yeah.
And that's why most hairdressers, unfortunately, they are, I would say, slaves to the profession, rather than having the time to enjoy and charge what they're actually worth.
Yeah, exactly.
And when you were growing, what is an advice that nobody gave you but should have?
In the professional, in the hairdressing industry. I think nobody told me that I would be a psychologist, a therapist, a doctor, everything together. But no, I'm joking. I think nobody told me that wouldn't be easy. You know, things doesn't happen overnight. You won't have like a full diary or a nice and vast clientele base overnight. You need to work hard. You need to put your effort in it. You need to put your face out there. You know, like social media nowadays is key. You know, even with my kind of content, but it's key. But I think this is the advice nobody gave me. Like, yeah, you like doing hair, go for it. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. You need to not just be good. You need to make yourself something that people see as a different kind of spot on you, you know, and you need to work very hard to be seen in this industry, especially nowadays. Like every corner, there's millions of hairdressers out there.
Fantastic.
It's a hard effort work.
And now you recently last year, you are a Sweet ambassador. What made you say yes to Sweet in the first place?
I think when I received the invitation for this title, let's put it like this, the most important thing for me was to work with something that I trust, not just because I'm receiving something, you know. I think most of the hairdressers don't think about that when you're doing some partnership or something like that, because you can't use something that you don't have fully trust in that, because we're talking about a client, a full paid service. So if you use some crap products in somebody else's hair just to record the stories, that's really bad. So in the first place, I think I said yes because it was a brand that I fully trust. The values, the quality, and everything.
Nice. And thank you for that.
That's all right. My pleasure.
What's the real difference between being a Sweet ambassador and just using a product?
I think when you're ambassador, it's a big responsibility because, like I said, you are putting a flag up and defending a brand that if you don't really know the values behind the brand, you know, what is very important for the brand to be represented as and stuff like that, is dangerous. So I think being an ambassador and having this kind of voice to talk about the brands, even with my clients or another hairdressers, and share all the information about the brand, for me is a pleasure. But I think this is the difference. I'm not talking about a product. I am the face of the brand in UK, and this is a biggest responsibility to do my best every day.
Right. So you feel like it positions you, it gives you empowerment.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely.
What do you feel that changed in your career once you started being an ambassador?
For me personally, I think when I became an ambassador for Sweet Professional, it gives me a little bit more. It gives me authority to talk about some products. Of course, like in these 18 years, I use a lot of products in my life. And I always tend to say like, oh, look, this product is very nice and stuff like that. But understand fully about that product and have the voice about that product is a kind of authority that I have now and I didn't have before.
And what is about being here in our educational center in Spain, in Sweet's environment, that breaks the idea of another normal brand?
Good one. Right. To be very honest with you, I think since the moment that I entered this educational center and we have a chat and we start recording content and stuff like that, I feel that here you guys are a family. And you can see that the love is spread in a different way. So it's not just a work environment. It's not boring. It's not somewhere that you go create content like a robot, you know, like, what should I say? What you want me to be here for? I think, and this is a very nice question because this is what the brand gives me as well. Like, is a feeling like a family. It's not just a business. And I hate working with whatever, like even with people or any brand that treats you like,
They treat you like a number. That makes
exactly, treat you like a number. And I didn't feel like this here at any moment. Like, I was very welcome. You gave me very nice food. You fed me. So yeah, now jokes aside, I think this is the impression that I had, like the Sweet Professional is a big family.
Picking up on this point of Sweet being a family, this feeling that you had, what is it that you feel the Sweet understands about hairdressers that sometimes brands often don't?
I think the difference that I felt with the brand is because normally when a distributor, for example, arrive in a salon trying to sell a product and stuff like that, is totally like a business kind of view. Like, it's really restricted to business. And I feel like a Sweet Professional is a brand that, like I said before, as I see as a family, is a grown together. You don't want me to sell a product or work with a product because you're going to pay me and that's it. You know, like we want to grow together, you know, like we want to expand our business together. We want to share the information together, but in a way that people can feel welcome to come to the brand, not just as a payment, you know. So I feel like it's more like in a human side of kind of connection with people.
You feel that the brand's goal is hairdressers' prosperity and not just to sell product.
Yeah, this is it. Like I feel like, well, for me personally, you always asking like how I feel with the product. You always asking my opinion in a very fair way, not just like, oh, did some hairdressers contact you about the product? You didn't ask me that. You're more interested to see how I'm feeling with the product, if I'm liking, if any point like the brand or the product could improve, So I think like the connection is real.
And why do you think the hairdressers struggle to value themselves properly?
There's a lot of things to be considered, but I think hairdressers sometimes they don't understand like we are selling not just a beauty. Like I said before, like you're selling dreams, you're selling self-esteem. So the narrative when it comes to the first contact with the client, for example, when she comes for a consultation and stuff like that, that is the first impact that the hairdresser has on the client. So some people sell themselves in a very wrong way, or they undercharge, or they think like, oh, I can't charge this because I'm not that good, or for any reason. It's not I'm not talking about charging regarding the money wise, but undervaluing yourself. I think this is really bad, because one day you'll deeply regret about this decision that you had, or you didn't have to have the proper communication with your client and study a little bit more what you should or shouldn't do.
So whenever I'm traveling around the world to do educations in Asia, in Europe, I see that there is this common pattern of hairdressers that they want to charge more. They're not happy about the current situation that they have financially in the salon, but they don't know how to do it. They have a lot of mental blocks.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, but how can I know that I should offer this service to my client, but I don't feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Or I know that she should use, this full home care service to look after her at home, but I don't offer. And what is it that you've done to offer services or treatments so confidently to your clients?
I think when you're offering a service, you said something very important. Like you said, some people are not confident about charging. About this says a lot about positioning as well. I think when you want to charge fair prices and you want to offer products and stuff, you have to have a very good excuse for that. And this comes with a narrative. If you want to charge fair prices, but you don't offer fair services, that doesn't make really sense. So it starts with the narrative. So if a hairdresser, for example, don't have the sense of positioning, and the client said, "Oh, how much is to do my balayage?" Yeah, for your hair. So you have to empower yourself and say, "Look, to do this hair, to give you this result, I need to do this, and that, and the price will be this, and that." So you have to empower yourself sometimes, and have the positioning that people talk about a lot about that nowadays. Like, oh, I can't charge this, I can't charge that. But it's not just about charging. It's how you say, how you charge, and what's the reason that you charge that price for. Because if, for example, you don't use nice products, you don't give nice reviews for your client, why would you charge fair prices for? So you need to understand that you need to empower yourself and positioning to do that, but also you have to give her what she wants as a good service, good results, So yeah,
a good overall experience.
Exactly.
Because sometimes hairdressers they forget that people buy what they perceive how much it costs, not what it actually costs.
Yeah.
And
it's value versus prices, isn't it?
exactly. I remember when we were talking about the client journey, when they go into with you,
Yeah.
it starts from the way that you present yourself daily, how you look after, how you understand, how she wants to feel when she looks in the mirror,
Yeah.
how it is, especially like you said, the time that I spend with her.
Yeah.
And then adds up into charging the fair pricing.
Exactly.
And then you feel like, oh, I cannot charge this, because subconsciously maybe the hairdresser that does not put all of these things into the service, they're just focusing maybe on the result, and that's it.
Yeah.
They subconsciously feel I shouldn't be charging this because I'm not giving.
That's it. And also this question comes back to what we're talking about, like the whole service. You need to understand that your client, her appointment starts in the moment that she gets in the salon. How you greet her, if you give her a nice, a coffee, a cappuccino, the way that you make her feel special, it also adds value to your service. Because if the client arrives in the salon, you're running late, you arriving late to her appointment, you are arriving after her, looking like a mess, giving her a glass of water in a plastic glass. Do you know what I mean? So I think the customer service is key as well, because it adds value. It's not just about charging. You need to understand, she will pay you the fair price. However,
you deliver.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So we have our exclusive program called Sweet Circle, which is for hairdressers that want to take their profession to the whole new level and have worldwide recognition. And you being a member of the Sweet Circle, an ambassador, what kind of professional hairdresser should join Sweet Circle?
I think if you are a hairdresser and you thinking about expanding your skills and working with a brand that fully understand the necessity of us in real life, I think Sweet Professional is for you. Because like I said before, despite the fact that we are very cute, we are a family, and I feel like the type of professional that should join us is exactly the type of profession that I am, which is not just about passion with hairs. You have passion with interacting with people and getting to know new people, getting to know new experiences and stuff like that. I think is about
expanding your horizons.
Exactly.
From the salon to something worldwide.
Yeah, it's about I forgot the word. Sorry. Networking. So it's all about that.
And what does an ambassador gain beyond product? Because sometimes it's a very common question. I'm an ambassador. I'm going to get just some products and that's it.
Okay.
But you're stuck on the level 1. So you being an ambassador, what is it that you gain apart from products?
I think is the whole experience. I have the voice to talk about a brand that I really and fully believe. I had this amazing opportunity to be here with you, with everybody, with the whole Sweet Professional family in Spain. I have more visibility, the brand also gave more voice for my kind of content, which I create some content for hairdressers, of course, but you guys actually helped me a little bit to stand up the flag and defend our industry in a different level in way. And also I have the marketing team, editing my videos and working with me as well. Even I'm in UK and you guys here in Spain. So yeah, again, it's the experience of being part of a good team.
Fantastic. And just if you could, for example, speak to the Lucas from 5 years ago, what would you tell him?
Ooh, good one. I would say, don't be afraid. Things get worse. If I could give myself an advice 5 years ago, I would say, don't be afraid of saying what your heart and mind holds, because there's a lot of people there trying to do the same. So join them, and it's all right to say some kind of stuff, of course, like in the context of being in a salon and this connection between client and hairdresser. I would tell myself, don't be afraid, because you're not alone.
And this is nice because I follow you on social media, and I see that sometimes that you have a client, a consumer that contacts you, often sometimes in a rude way, and you don't have fear or concern to speak back to them, or the questions. If you guys want to have some good laughs, check out these Q&As, because it's the best. You're in for a treat. How did this idea came up on creating this type of content?
I think this idea started when I realized that whatever I thought that, oh my God, I wish I could say that. Oh, I wish I could say this and that to the clients, stuff like that. It wasn't actually that bad. And of course, like, my content is a humor content. Like I kind of embrace a persona and to do my videos sometimes. I'm not like that 24/7 with my clients. I don't swear to my client like I do in the videos sometimes. But I think this idea came when I thought, you know what? I need to defend not just myself, but I think our industry sometimes is seen very wrong. So people tend to see hairdressers as slaves, as a servant sometimes. And, I think my content is kind of like breaking the barrier or the boundary to tell this kind of client or people that come to us like being very rude or very demanding or treating you as a servant in a salon, like I'm paying you so I could treat you or say whatever I want. Life doesn't work like that. If you say something that you want from me, but you're rude, you will feel ashamed of your question or your attitude, because, so this is my kind of content, like to show the hairdressers that I'm here for you, like people can't treat you like shit. Sorry, excuse my language. Because they're paying you, like it's not about that.
And that goes into our last question. What is a message that you leave for people watching this here now, to the hairdressers that are watching this here now, and want to have a different result, want to change their lives, want to change their business in 2026?
Well, the message that I have for all of you is that I really wish from the bottom of my heart that 2026 could be the year of taking back the power that belonged to us, the power that you had one day and you think you don't anymore. So this perspective of our business and our industry, I feel that is going down, because some people, not all of them, but some people still see the industry as a kind of, like I said, like treating us like a servant. Oh my God, you charge that much for a hair. No, it's not for a hair. I'm charging the price that I do. It's for your self-esteem. It's for you to look at the mirror and feel empowered, and you feel more special. And I will spend 6 hours with you doing your hair and giving you my best and putting my effort to make you feel more special. So is the value that belongs to us hairdressers that in some point sometimes get lost. So my message is, don't let it go. You got it. You got this power. You are capable. I am capable. You are capable. We are all capable to do nice hairs, but also to stand up for ourselves and stay in the place that you belong in your industry, in your professional. Don't let it go. Empower yourself, and please,
who you are.
Yes, remember who you are. What you're there for. So if somebody ever puts you in a place that makes you doubt about your value or your worth,
Fire them.
fuck them off. Should I say that?
Exactly. It's like, I agree with you 100%. I fully agree with you 100%. I think hairdressers sometimes exactly they think they focus so much on I'm selling a cut, I'm selling a collar, I'm selling a balayage, but they don't think of the impact
Yeah.
that the person feels after they lift from the chair, how the interactions throughout the whole day just gets improved.
Yeah.
I know for myself, when I go to the barber, which happens to be our two beautiful educators that we have here, my whole day, my whole week changes. Whenever I have an important event, I always go to the barber because I want to look good. And this is exactly what you hairdressers offer to your clients. This is what you are selling. You're not selling a cut, you're selling a transformation, you're selling a performance. So if I perform better on an event, my hair, my look is a big part of it. And I want to even leave a last question for you. Imagine that you have a family member which is in the same place as you. I invested so many hours, effort, energy into products, training, workshops. I've seen so many heads study so much and is constantly always studying. And they charge the pricing that you are charging. Would you approve on that or would you say otherwise?